Loop 3. I looked up because of the sound of someone slamming onto the table I was laying my head on. Aim was standing, grabbing onto the table with her two hands. Her lovely face looked upset. Dr. Tin, how could you fall asleep? We're at war right now with all the cases out there. Hurry and go help your juniors, will you? I stared at her quietly. She looked at the food on the table and continued, Oh my, did you fall asleep while eating? Are you alright? Do you want to take a day off? I stood up so suddenly. Aim was taken aback. Okay, this was abnormal. This was a dream within a dream within a dream that felt too real. I was probably sleeping, and I kept dreaming about my previous shift. Aim, please wake me up. Aim looked at me, confused. I just woke you up. No, I mean, I'm dreaming. I finished my shift long ago and I came back to sleep in this room. I'm in a dream right now. A dream about the previous shift. I'm dreaming. He said the same things again, like a madman. Aim looked at me and bursted out laughing. What are you talking about? I don't understand it at all. She stooped down to pick up my black stethoscope on the floor and handed it to me. You've been on duty since the morning shift, right? It's normal to go mad after working here for 16 hours straight. She spun me around and pushed me out of the dining room. I'm not mad, seriously. I saw you in there too many times now. I work here, so seeing me in this dining room often is a given. Are you still sleepy? If you see what it's like in the ER, you're going to be wide awake. Then I saw the same chaotic scene in the ER for the third time. I took a deep breath. This was fine. Just keep calm, Tin. You would wake up in a minute in the same dining room. You would finish your shift, get back to your condominium, and cuddle Zebra, your white Persian cat. Let things be the way they wanted. Just let it be. Pitin, help me! One's voice entered my mind. I opened my eyes and saw the extern walking toward me. Pitin, there's a fresh case. The male 52 has asthma. Used bronchodilators and an inhaler. He felt more tired than usual for 30 minutes before getting to the hospital. Intubation, a hard case. I'll do it myself. You go check other cases. I walked directly to the uncle, who appeared so exhausted, not caring how one was looking at me, stunned. Did you want me to work my shift again? Was my brain playing a trick on me? Fine, I would get it over with. Then, after I got to sleep in the dining room once the shift was over, I would eventually wake up to the reality. Intubation! Bring me a 7.5 tube and volume. 7.5 tube and volume! A nurse answered and dashed to the medical cart. A nursing assistant knew her job, running and connecting the oxygen mask and the ambu bag with the oxygen reservoir bag. This was the scene that had happened. It was fine. I was still dreaming. Once the drugs started kicking in on the patient, I slowly inserted the blade into his mouth. I had the nursing assistant push the patient's throat so his windpipe slid backward. There I saw it. I inserted the breathing tube into this man successfully on the first try. The accident victim is unconscious! Here came the highlight case of today's shift. I stood there, watching the stretcher being hurriedly wheeled into the ER. The man was lying unconscious on the spine board. I inspected his face thoroughly. This was the first time I realized that even when he was unconscious, he was strangely beautiful. Would it be possible for me to save his life, even if it was just a dream? Pin! I'll take on the case. I raised to grab Pin's shoulders as she was heading toward the case. You call the ICU and send the uncle I just intubated there. Okay. Pin looked at me confusingly for a few seconds and then sprinted to the case as I told her to. I walked to the young man. The first thing I did was call him to check on his response. Hey, can you hear me? I yelled and shook his shoulders. He did not respond. The next thing I did was check his pulse. 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds. My fingers could not feel his pulse. Cardiac arrest! CPR now! CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation, the operation to resuscitate patients when they stop breathing and have cardiac arrest. Ah, I'm dying, Pitin. My legs are shattered. What a freaking crazy shift. Yap glanced at me and nudged me hard. What are you thinking about? I ignored the man who tried to get my attention. In my mind, I only thought about that patient. After an hour of trying to resuscitate him, he died. This was the second time I had to deliver the bad news to his parents and stood there, watching the nurses slowly removing the monitor wires and breathing too. Why? Even in a dream, I still could not fix it. How could I save patients' lives in reality? 18. We still don't know the case's cause of death, right? Juan asked me. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong. I put my hands together and laid my forehead on them. I gave him blood and saline to help with the shock due to too much blood loss. I treated the acidosis. The potassium level in his blood was high, but I balanced it. Gap hit my shoulder loudly and stood up. Stop overthinking it. You did your best. You should go home and rest now. I'll go as well, Dean said. See you, P. I stayed still as everyone walked out of the room. My brain was so tired I could not think of anything. When would I wake up from this dream? Somebody please wake me up from this table so I can go home and sleep before having another ridiculous dream. Or should I drive home now? But I was too exhausted to even keep my eyes open. End of loop 3.